My name is Asa Martin, and I've been involved in country music since I was a boy. I've seen a lot of changes over the years. Country music used to be known as the folk music of the mountain people of the South, but today it is popular not only in the country, but in the city as well. It is popular not only in the United States, but all over the world. I was born in 1900, June the 25th, in the neighboring county from where we're now located, Clark County, Kentucky. We had a very large bluegrass farm. I had 3 brothers and 3 sisters and a great mother and father. My mother, being a music teacher, taught us the scale of music before we even learned our ABCs. And we learned many of the old mountain songs, we call them folk songs, from transit workers who came through from Virginia, West Virginia, and eastern Kentucky. We learned numbers like, and heard numbers for the first time, like Cumberland Gap. Well, old Dan Boone in his coonskin cap, he came all the way through the Cumberland Gap. Well, old Aunt Dinah, if you don't care, I'll leave my Davy John sitting right here. And if it ain't here when I get back, I'll raise the devil in the Cumberland Gap. Well, it was rather accidental how I learned to play a saw. My dad set me down one time to, when I was a kid, to put a few boards on a corn crib there. I took the saw and hammer along, decided to sit down a while and rest, and I wondered if there could be any tone in one of them things. And I picked up a corn cob, something like this, and I said, "Oh, just try it out." So I started like this. There's a little tone there, so. I decided I'd try it a little further and take a fiddle bow or something else and see if I could get some tone out of it. In my early days, we had to make our own entertainment. When we'd entertain ourselves with our music and our singing and playing. And my family was very much in demand at the church socials and the dances.
Boys, let's go to Stony Point. Here we go.
My family used to play dance tunes like this one. Every community had its musicians who played at church socials, schools, and dances.
Answer the last
I began recording in 1926 and recorded over 400 numbers. Later, I became talent director of the Mutual Southern Network, a large radio chain. And in that position, I was able to help many people get started. And because of recordings and radio, local performers and bands became nationally known. Well, somebody stole my little black dog and I wish I'd bring him back. I've retired several times, yes, 3 or 4 times. I guess I will again maybe in a week or two, but I'll be right back out playing just as long as I live.
Hello, everyone. My name is Patsy Montana, and I sing country and western songs. I was born in a little town in Hope, Arkansas. That's about 100 miles from Hot Springs, Arkansas. And I want you to know I consider it a privilege to have been born and raised in the country because we had a lot of fun. We had to create our own fun. It's the days before television. And I can remember so well on Sundays after we would get back from church, we would go to someone's house for the afternoon and sit around the porch swing, and someone always had a guitar and a fiddle and maybe a banjo. So we'd sit around and we would sing songs. And this is one that comes to my mind now that we used to sing. Precious memories, how they linger, how they ever flood my soul. And we had a lot of fun creating the parts. I imagine we were pretty flat and sharp, but we didn't care. We had a lot of fun anyway. And about the only recording star that I remember during that time was Jimmie Rodgers, and he's called America's Blue Yodeler, or the father of country music. And the thing I learned from Jimmie Rodgers was yodeling. And we used to get ready to go to school in the morning, and we did walk 3 miles to school. We would go out and we'd yodel for the kids down the road. And if they were ready to go to school, they'd answer us. So this is yodeling. I entered a talent contest at the local theater, and I won. I don't know why I won, because I sort of blush now to think how I looked. Instead of wearing blue jeans and a checkered shirt to look like the songs I was singing, I didn't want to wear that. I grew up in those. I went down to the store and I think paid $1 down or something and bought me a beautiful black dress, a great big beaded butterfly. Didn't even have a strap for my guitar. But the main thing is I won. And after that, I was invited to join the WLS National Barn Dance.
Every one of you folks will stay with us on the one and only National Barn Dance.
Now that was a big radio show broadcast coast to coast every Saturday night. And there's about 75 people in the whole cast when we were all there. And I look back now and I saw two changes coming. I think country music was always the farmers and the country people's music, but the city slickers began to take notice. Because the WLS Barn Dance and Nashville's Grand Ole Opera were very popular shows. So then we had the country people and we had the city people. And I look back now, another change. Bob Wills came onto the scene. He brought in the Western swing. And the Sons of Pioneers was making a big hit in Hollywood. Bob Nolan was writing Western songs. It was no longer country, it was country and Western music. There weren't many country Western girls around when I made my first record. It was really a man's world when it came to the recording field. So I like to think maybe that I sort of helped break the ice for all the girls to follow. They tell me I was the first country and Western girl to sell 1 million records. The song was both my words and music. The song was I Want to Be a Cowboy Sweetheart. I want to be a cowboy sweetheart, the life I love the best. Now come on everybody. That's it. I want to ride old paint, a going at a run. I want to feel the wind in my face. 1,000 miles from all these city lights, go in a cannon's pace. I want to pillar my head near the sleeping herd while the moon shines down from above. I want to strum my guitar and oh, that's the life I love.
Hello, my name is Johnny Bond. I have been actively engaged in the business of country and Western music all of my adult life, having been brought up in the Red River Valley section of South Central Oklahoma. I used to listen to phonograph records, you know, the great blue yodeler Jimmy Rogers, and on the radio there was Bob Wills and his Texas Playboys. I can distinctly recall many of the songs that I heard during those times, including this one. Then come sit by my side if you love me. Do not hasten to bid me adieu. Just remember the Red River Valley and the cowboy who loves you so true. I first became a professional entertainer while still in high school. After graduation, I moved to Oklahoma City and met Jimmy Wakely, and we, with another fella, formed a singing cowboy trio. We then met Mr. Gene Autry, who eventually put us to work on his CBS radio show, Melody Ranch. When we joined Gene Autry in 1940, he was at that time the biggest singing Western cowboy movie star in history. Soon we were joining him in Western movies. We were putting on the big hats, the six guns, and the heavy chaps, and riding the ponies with such stars not only as Gene Autry, but Roy Rogers, Hopalong Cassidy, Tex Ritter, and many others. I imagine practically every youngster in the country attended the Saturday matinees where they watched Gene Autry on the silver screen.
I'm admitting Iowa, I owe a lot to you, 'cause I come from Nebraska to find Sioux City Sue. I'm gonna rope and tie her up, I'll use my old lasso. I'm gonna put my brand on my sweet Sioux City Sue. Sioux City Sue, Sioux City Sue. Your hair is red, your eyes are blue. I bought my horse and dog for you. Sioux City Sue, Sioux City Sue. There ain't no gal as true as my sweet Sioux City Sue.
While country and Western music was now gaining wide popularity, there came out of the Southeast another form of music, American folk music, which we now call bluegrass. This was popularized by Bill Monroe and his Bluegrass Boys, and if you are familiar with this music, you know that it is always very lively. Bluegrass bands feature the fiddle, the mandolin, and especially the five-string banjo. They often play ballads and dance tunes drawn from the early days of country music, performing these pieces in an energetic and complex style. I'd like to perform a number for you entitled The Fool's Paradise. This is what we call a gunfighter ballad, and like so many country and Western songs, it tells a story. Not only that, but it uses dialogue or talking as well as singing. As I write this letter to you, darling, I can't hold the teardrops from my eyes, for at sundown I will lay a-dying at the door of the fool's paradise. I rode into this cattle town this morning, left my herd to check the market price, and I walked into the nearest barroom. They called it the fool's paradise. There the crowd was gay and girls were dancing, and the men were playing cards and dice. So I stepped up to the bar to join them. A grand place, this fool's paradise. It was then I showed to them your picture I passed it around once or twice. Then a man insulted your sweet honor at the bar of the Fool's Paradise. So I hit him in the face. I told him, I says, eat them words, mister, or draw. That's my advice. And he said that folks might get hurt here inside, but that he'd meet me in the street at sundown. At sundown in front of the Fool's Paradise. So goodbye, my darling, may God bless you. I go to make the sacrifice. And if ever you visit old Dodge City, think of me and the Fool's Paradise.
I'm Judy Rose. You met my mother, Patsy Montana, a few minutes ago. And through my mother, I've been involved in country and western music all my life. In those days, we did songs that were mostly about the country way of life, country experience. This is a song that my mother wrote. I was born in the Ozark Mountains, far away from the city lights. I was born in a little log cabin, and I'm gonna stay here the rest of my life. Country and western music is accepted worldwide now. In the last few years, it has merged very much with pop music, and some songs, it's very hard to tell if they're country songs or pop songs. A good example of that is the composer, entertainer, Mr. John Denver. He writes songs that really have made hits in both fields, country and pop. This is an example of one of his songs. It's cold here in the city, it always seems that way, and I've been thinking about you almost every day, thinking about the good times, thinking about the rain, thinking about how bad it feels alone again. I'm sorry for the way things are in China. I'm sorry things ain't what they used to be. But more than anything else, I'm sorry for myself, 'cause you're not here with me. The instruments have changed quite a bit too. When I was a child, they were all acoustical instruments, mandolin, banjo, accordion now and then. Nowadays, it's all electrified, amplified, and it's entirely different sound.
Well, I was picking cotton down in Georgia when I heard the sound of the train. I said to myself, this is the very last time you'll never pick cotton again. So I hopped that northbound freight and I rode it up the rail to Carolina. Then I thumbed on up to New York City looking for the treasure I knew was mine. But I'd rather be picking cotton in Georgia than living in this old town. At least in Georgia I had someone to talk to. There always were some friends around. I'm gonna make me up a sign and ride on to Savannah and stand out on that big highway. 'Cause I'd rather be picking cotton in Georgia, and I'm going back to Georgia today.
Country and western music tells about the real things that happen to people. While pop music was dealing with the sugary, sweet love themes, country music was telling about the hardships of the Depression, about wartime and its problems. And even today, the country songs reflect the urban experience of the country people who move to the city and become disillusioned by the city and long for their country way of life.
I'd rather be picking cotton in Georgia than living in this old town. I'm gonna make me up a sign and ride on to Savannah and stand out on that big highway. 'Cause I'd rather be picking cotton in Georgia, and I'm going back to Georgia today. Yes, I'd rather be picking cotton in Georgia, and I'm going back to Georgia today. To Savannah, GA, but I ain't never gone away.
My name's Roberta Johnson. I'm 16 years old, and I live in Payson, Utah, and I attend Payson High School. Got started in country western music about 6 or 7 years ago, and I sing with my 3 brothers, and we have a little group, and we sing for concerts for high schools and junior high schools and dances. We've been doing that for about 3 years. The reason I like country western music is because it has a good beat, and the words really make sense, and they usually tell a good story. The reason I like this song so much is because it has a really deep meaning, and the words say, I am exactly what I am, and not the way you'd like to see me be. And that's just how I feel about myself.
You tell me that I'm falling down, a drifter with no role. You tell me that I need a friend to help me take control. Well, let it be, I'm not alone, I'm only lonely, see. And you can't tell me where to go or what or who to be. I am exactly what I am, and not the way you'd like to see me be. I look outside long as I can, then I close my eyes and watch my world unfold before me. I may not lead a simple life, I've no love of my own. If no one gives me all his heart, I'll manage with alone. I'm very used to feeling sad, it doesn't make me cry. And yes, I do know how to love, and what you say is a lie. I am exactly what I